A few years ago, I found myself constantly broke, despite the fact that I was earning good money. I was that one person that would say, you know what? I'll start saving next month. But guess what? Before the end of that month or before next month came, some type of emergency would have come my way that I would have little or nothing left. And then I'll tell myself, you know what? We are going to try again next month and next month and next month. And that next month never came until one day I was like, you know what? Things have got to change because you can't keep living this life. And when I decided to take matters into my hands, things really did change for me. And so in today's video, I want to share 5 proven strategies that will help you start saving right away. Now, the very first strategy when it comes to saving is for you to actually have a goal. Now, one thing that I was doing wrong all this while was the fact that I wanted to save, but I didn't have a why behind it. I just wanted to save because everyone said, it's good for you to save. But for me, I was like, you know what am I really saving for? And so because I didn't have that sense of urgency, something would come up that I would think was more important, and that would just take away all of my money. And then the next month, I'll be like, you know what? I'm going to make money in the next 2 weeks. I'm going to have money, and then I'll start saving. So it's very important that you actually have a goal. And one of the goals that I set that really kickstarted my journey towards saving was to build an emergency fund. So I told myself, you know what? Why don't you build up yourself an emergency fund so that all of these emergencies don't come unplanned? So when they come, I know that I have a bucket of funds somewhere that I can always grab from. And so my first goal was to have an emergency fund. And at the time, I wanted to build 3 months worth of expenses. I just wanted to have 3 months worth of my current expenses saved up as emergency so that whether it was my car breaking down or something just happened, I could easily grab money from somewhere. And so that was how I started saving, because at this time I had a goal that I was looking forward to, and then I knew exactly what I was working towards. And so what I did was determine what that amount was, and then I broke down that amount and I looked at my bank account and said, you know what? How much can I reasonably save on a day-to-day basis? And if I start saving this amount, how long will it take for me to reach my goal? So at the end of the day, I wanted to have 3 months worth of savings tied to the emergency fund. And so once I did the math, I understood, okay, you need to be saving this much on a bi-weekly basis or on a monthly basis to achieve this goal. So it's very important that you determine why you want to save. Everyone is telling us to save, but what is your why? What is that thing that you feel happy about once you start saving? Is it that you're saving for your graduation? Are you saving for a new house? Are you saving for a new car? Are you saving for that baby that is on the way? Why are you trying to save? Are you saving because you're trying to leave the 9-to-5 job to start your own personal hustle? What is your why? Once you're able to understand your why, it makes it so much easier for you to start saving. And that's exactly what I did. And that broke all of that chain of, reckless living, all of this year. So I want you to find your why and start saving for that why. Now, once you understand what your why is, then you break down, that goal into smaller chunks. Because definitely you don't have all of the money. So you're going to have a plan that will walk you through towards achieving your goal. So break that goal like I did into, a much smaller goal. So how much am I going to need to save on a month by month basis to help me achieve that goal? It makes saving so much easier. Now, the second thing that made saving so much easier, where I started to enjoy the art of saving, was for me to start, prioritizing my needs and my wants. Previously, if I wanted something, I would swipe my credit card. And so I decided that I did not want to spend money that I did not have. So no more spending credit card. I wanted to spend my own money. Now, what this meant was you needed to have the money to be able to spend. And so once I began to prioritize myself and reward myself for the hard work that I've been putting into this 9-to-5 hustle, I decided to start saving towards that. So, maybe there's this beautiful bag that I want. Instead of me just going to swipe my credit card, I start to save towards it and tell myself, okay, you know what? By Christmas, you'll be able to grab yourself this bag and that'll be your Christmas gift. Or by February, you'll be able to gift yourself that as your birthday. Or, whatever month it was that I knew that I would have saved up to that amount. And that started to make more sense for me. So I didn't see the need for instant gratification anymore, because credit card, I literally broke all of my credit cards and threw it away. And I'm like, you know what? I'm done with you. You have suffered me for this long. I am not going to live in that life anymore. And so having to prioritize myself and my needs and knowing that it's okay for me to have, the luxuries of this life, I just need to plan for it. That also helped me, to plan towards saving. And that also instigated the need for me to pay myself first. So once I get paid, I do not care about the bills. I am going to save for myself. I'm going to save and reward myself for all the hard work, because guess what? I've been working for the last 2 weeks. So why wouldn't I pay myself? So that completely changed my mindset. And I started to save 10% of everything that I earn. And I threw it into a savings account that I did not even have access to. So I made sure that I didn't have, an ATM card assigned to that card, because I just wanted to keep saving and not just see you and be smiling over there. So it's very important that you are paying yourself first. There's nothing wrong in you wanting, the great things of life. There's nothing wrong in you wanting whatever it is that you want. The most important thing is that you need to have a plan on how it gets paid. And you don't want to owe, just to live that life, right? We don't want to be like the Joneses, right? We want to live within our means. And, nothing is impossible as long as you have a plan towards achieving that goal. And that's simply what I did. So paying myself first became a game changer, because guess what? It helped me to live within my means, because after I paid myself, then we're going to deal with whatever it is that is left. So, whether is $1 we have left, we're going to make it work. So it was very important for me to start paying myself. And that was a game changer. So I'm hoping that you actually pick this habit and you begin to pay yourself first. Because guess what? You worked for it. You worked hard, and you deserve to pay yourself for the hard work that you've been doing all of these years. Now, something else that was a game changer for me was embracing the 30-day rule. Yes. I was the person where if I liked something, I would go for it and then think about it later, right? As long as I had a credit card, if I liked something, I would just swipe it. And then when I get home, I'm like, oh, should I have really bought this stuff? Did I make a good choice? Okay, now I've bought it. It's too late. And I'll just deal with it. I was that person. And I was like, you know what? I do not want to be that person anymore. So one thing that I started to do was to embrace the 30-day rule. If I like something, I'm not going to buy right away. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait a couple of days. I'm going to wait a couple of weeks, depending on what it is. And if I really want it after 30 days, then I probably need it. If I don't, then I will just forget it. And it worked so well with me because, and I'm the kind of person that if something is not in my face, I'm not even going to remember that it exists. So it's so easy for me to be able to live without a lot of things. And so if I see something and I don't buy it, then there's a possibility that I don't really want it. And so most times I would just hold off. Even when I go window shopping, guess what? I leave my wallet in the car. Because I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to get down with this wallet, because by the time I go into one of those shops, that's when I'm going to buy some nice bag that I didn't know that I wanted. So, I start to train myself. And once I start to delay, that gratification, once I started to delay and wait longer to really find out whether I wanted it, it really was a game changer for me. So I don't buy, something just by impulse. No, it doesn't work. Because I know myself. So many times I'm going to create that system that actually restricts me from buying things by impulse. And it's been a game changer because half of the time, I didn't really need most of those things that I wanted on that get-go. So it was really a game changer. And I saw that I started to save more and it just became a part of me. And after a while, it was no longer a problem. Like once I see it, I'm like, you know what, I'll think about it. If I want to, I'll come back to it. And if I don't even remember the next week, then no, you're not even my worry and I'll not even bother about it. So that was something that really helped me. So I'm hoping that you're also able to embrace this rule where you are waiting. If you see something that you like, you really wait to really confirm whether you want it, wait it out. The thing is that even if that one thing goes, there's still something else that will be available by the time you want it. So, don't be in a hurry to grab it. Don't let your emotions control you, because at the end of the day, those emotions don't bring money into your bank account. It's what you do that reflects in your bank account. So if you're spending, guess what? Your bank account is going to be zero. And if you're saving, guess what? You're going to see those thousands of dollars in your bank account. Now, another strategy that really helped me out was to cut out all of this eating expenses. Like, one of the biggest expenses I had was just buying things that were not relevant. Like I had lots of subscriptions that I felt like I needed. And, maybe I just needed it one time. And after that one time, I will forget to go cancel it out. And then they'll just keep charging me and charging me. And then one day I looked at my bank statement. I was like, what is all of this? When I pulled my bank statement and moved it into Excel, I realized that $200 was going on monthly subscriptions from random things that were $10, $20, $25, like that. But it was all up to $200 on a monthly basis. So that was some eating expenses that I did not even know existed. And because I wasn't, auditing my account on a monthly basis, I didn't even know that I was wasting that money. So it's important that you actually take an audit of your bank statement, see where your money is going to, so that you're able to cut out any eating expenses that you don't even know are crawling at your money on a day-to-day basis. It's very, very important. Even something as tiny as maybe late fees, they could really crawl on you. Let me give you an example. So I live in Texas, and so we have this stuff called NTTA, where when you go on toll roads, you pay for it. So normally you would put your card on, the website, so that every time maybe your balance is low, they'll kind of take money. So they used to take $40 from my accounts, like every time that maybe my account had gone low and I'd gone so many times on toll, right? So I think on this particular time or this particular year, I believe that maybe my card expired and they must have sent me an email and I probably overlooked that email. Anyway, long story short, one day I received a pink slip. I was owing almost $900. Guess what? Half of that amount was in late fees because I kept on going on toll without paying. And so for every time they charged me for toll, they would charge me late fee because I wasn't paying. And I thought like my bank account was taking care of it. So at the end of the day, I paid $900, but out of that $900, $500 or more was on late fees and interest rate that I'd accrued. So you don't want those kind of things crawling up on you. Imagine if I was better, at looking at my financial statement, I would have cut it on time because it was almost 6 months or thereabout. So the charges wasn't just one time. It was like over a period of time that I didn't even take, a look at my expenses. I didn't take a look at my financial statement. I was just spending. And until I received that letter, I was like, oh my God, really? I'm in this much trouble? Now imagine what I could have done with $900. I could have been living the life, right? I could have bought myself something nice, but guess what? I had to pay the towing company or the tow, whatever, NTTA. I had to pay them because I didn't plan better and because I was not in charge of my finances. So that's how, these little expenses keep eating us up. And there's something that you have to get rid of. And once you're in control of your finances, you cut off every eating, finances, and you're checking your financial statement on a monthly basis. Guess what? You will save more because you're going to be directing your money to where it truly matters. Now, another strategy that helped me save so much more is me planning for my money before that money actually comes, right? So I don't wait for payday to start figuring out like all the things I want to do. Before payday comes, I already know I'm paying myself 10%. I already know that I'm saving 10% towards investment. I already know how much my mortgage costs. I know how much all of my expenses are. I know how much I want to spend on groceries. I know how much I want to spend on eating out. I know how much I want to spend. And so I plan an online envelope system for all of this money so that when my pay comes, I assign you to that bucket and I pay for it. Now, once I assign an amount to a particular bucket, so let's say, for example, groceries, and I say, you know what, for this month, I am spending $1,000 on you. Once $1,000 has been spent, that is the end. So it doesn't matter if we're like halfway done that month or we're like almost at the end of the month. I am going to have to live with it because that is the decision that I've made. And this made me extremely careful. And I realized that I started to save more when I was working that way. So I didn't have to start borrowing from credit card or start borrowing from another bucket because I already prepared for each of those categories. And I knew exactly what I was going to be doing with my money. And that really was a game changer. So I want you to introduce the envelope system to your finances where you're planning for your money even before you receive it. So when it eventually comes, you already know where that money is going to and what's going to be used for and exactly how much you want to spend. And then you're going to discipline yourself to stick to the rule that you already created. Now, the final step that actually helps you to save more is for you to automate your savings. Now, it's one thing for you to say, you know what, I want to save 10% of my salary on a bi-weekly basis. But what are you doing to ensure that it gets done? And the secret is automation. You have to find a way to, without thinking, save, right? And that's when you automate, your pay. So you could always create a separate account where every 2 weeks you're sending, your 10% to that account where you do not, even have to think about it. Like every time, on my payday, when I look at my account, definitely things have already gone. Things have already gone. Most of the things have already gone because I have automated most of my expenses. I don't even want to think about it. So that whatever I see left in the account, I know that, okay, this is either groceries or maybe something that I have to manually pay that probably stays in that account. So you want to automate your expenses, automate your saving. Decide today how much you want to start saving and automate it, start sending it to yourself. Now, one thing that also really helps me out with saving was me participating in the 52-week challenge, where you decide every week how much you want to save and you just start sending that money on a weekly basis for the next 52 weeks. So you can always go into your bank account, select the amount, select the number of weeks, and voila, it's all set. Every time money eats in that account, it goes. And even if there's a particular week where there's no money in that account, it would not go for that week. But the next week there is money, it will go. So you can always set up your account that way and you don't even have to worry. And guess what? You come back and you have this much money that you can do something wonderful with it. So I hope that these tips are really inspirational. I hope that these tips are going to inspire you and challenge you to start saving because they work for me and I believe that they can work for you. The goal is for us to build wealth. We're working for a reason, right? And we want to be able to build wealth in such a way that we don't have to rely on the job that we have. And these are some of the things that you have to start doing to ensure that you're able to reach and achieve that financial freedom that you desire. Savings is the foundation of everything. And if you do not know how to save, guess what? You would always remain in that rat race. So thank you so much for watching today's video with me. I hope you had a great time. If you indeed enjoyed today's video, make sure you like, make sure you share, and make sure you subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.